What's going on, everybody? Thank you very much for joining me. I am back. I am not 100%, but I am back, and I am glad to be here. Now, listen, I've got a plan. You guys know, if you've been, I've been trying to do this live stream for almost a week now, but I keep postponing it because I have not been feeling well. But I've got a plan. I've got a plan because I still do not feel well. By the way, I'm not sure that my mic is matching my video. Let's make sure that it's coming back and forth. Just reset the camera, make sure it's there. Are we there? I think we might be. Okay. Guys, we are following the case. We're continuing our coverage of the case of Madeline Soto. This is, again, 13-year-old little girl in Florida who we found out whose life was cut short. Her life was taken. It has been alleged and accused that this is the man who did it, a man named Stefan Stearns. And he is also accused of like 60 counts of abusing Madeline and of having like 35,000 photos of, CSAM. Yeah, I want to say that correctly. And anyway, it's a horrible, horrible case. And we're picking up where we left off in the last video, where we've been listening to this April 18th interview of Jen Soto. So I'm going to put on my headphones here, and we're going to take a listen to the last half of this of this interview. Now, Jen Soto, this is Madeline's mom, Jen. She's being interviewed by an investigator named William J. He is with the state's attorney's office for the 9th District down there in Florida. So far, I think he's been doing a terrific job on this. Keep in mind that the interview is happening well after Jen has already talked to police. She already knows that her daughter is dead. She already knows that Stefan has been accused of it. By the way, I'm being careful about saying he's accused and alleged and so forth. I believe he did it for sure. But so far, it is just alleged. He is accused of those things. It has not been proven in court. He has not pled guilty. So I want to be careful about that stuff. I have felt that Jen Soto has had some kind of part in this. I have described it as pimping. I believe that she was probably pimping her daughter to Stefan. That's just my opinion. I don't know that. But the state's attorney's office offered her a deferred use immunity for her testimony in this. So what does deferred use mean? This is just a quick reminder for all of us. Deferred use means, actually, am I saying that correctly? Derivative use, not deferred use, derivative use. If you go to my website, I do have a post all about it. Dang it, let me bring up this window here and make sure that I've got all my buttons correctly. Yeah, if you go to my website, gavinfish.com, I've got a derivative use immunity kind of a blog post primer about it. You guys can read that. But basically, anything that they get out of this interview with Jen, they're not able to use that against her in court. Likewise, if they derive any evidence that comes from information that they learned from Jen Soto in this interview, they are not able to use that either. Now, there are a couple of asterisks to this. Number one is if she lies, all bets are off. So if they find out that she lied, then they can use anything against her that she says, and anything that derives from anything that she says. Number two is if they are able to come to that same evidence in another way through other information that they gather from other folks, then they can use that against her. That's the way derivative use works. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop in. Oh, I guess there is further ado. While I'm playing the recording, I'm going to be showing photos of Maddie, and I'm going to be showing photos of Jen and Stearns and so forth. I'm still not feeling well. So I'm going to be using my mute button liberally, because there are sounds that the crater inside this cranium has been making that are not pleasant. But I'm also going to be covering myself up like this. Oh, look at that. Don't I look terrific? So I hope it's not distracting, but I might mute my microphone. You might see this from time to time as I'm clearing my throat or whatever. So I just want to give you guys that heads up. Okay, let's get back to a photo of Maddie. Let's remember our victim in this. We're coming in at about 35 minutes. I've backed up a few seconds from where we left off. She's talking about what their routine is as they get ready for school in the morning, typically. And then, as it says down on the screen there, if there's anything that you would like me to know or read or share on screen, please put GF in that comment. And that helps me when I do my little, my camera's a little glitchy still. Sorry about that. I'm figuring it out. I will work on that as we get the audio going. Okay, here we go.
I would give her ADHD medications for school.
Is that every day or just school days? So it sounds like you're heading out like 8:45 or 9?
Yes.
And it takes like, what did you say, 15, 20 minutes to get to school?
Yes.
And first bell's 9:38?
9:20.
Something like that?
9:20,
Okay.
yeah.
So on Monday the 26th, 7:30 seems like a really early time to depart to go to middle school, even if you're getting Mickey D's. What was the discussion about when Stefan and Madeline were going to leave on the 26th?
There wasn't one.
So you didn't know anything about these plans, or did you? Or
I knew that they were going to go to McDonald's, but not 7 o'clock in the morning. That wasn't...
okay.
I had assumed like 8 o'clock. But even then, 8 o'clock is kind of early, like 8:30, because you could just go to McDonald's, be done by 9, and then drop her off at school. But the McDonald's is right the block away from the school. So
And Madeline's not driving, so she can eat while she's riding.
Yeah. So I don't...
And she takes about an hour to get ready in the morning?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
So if they were leaving at 7:30, you'd think she'd have to get up at 6:30 to get ready and go through a routine, right?
Yeah, that's extremely early.
Okay. And is that what Stefan told you after these events unfolded? Was that they left early, like 7:30? What did he ever tell you?
It was early. I can't remember the time. I think I dropped her off in front of her school sometime between 8:15 and 8:45.
You say I. What do you mean by that? Did you drop her off that
No,
morning?
I'm speaking, sorry. And,
Okay.
as what Stefan was telling me. Stefan let me know that he dropped her off sometime between 8:15 and 8:45.
Wait. I think he caught that before I did. Yeah, she's like repeating a story that he has told her to tell people, I think. Just say that she's putting the third person into the first person, and he's going, wait, I don't understand. So, yeah, I think that's an indication that she's lying, probably.
On the road by the church close to her school.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking him, why so early? That's too early. School doesn't start until 9:30. Why did you drop her off that early? Oh, I don't know. We just left the house and made good time. I wasn't paying attention to the clock.
Okay. Did Madeline ever have like effects from taking the hydroxyzine in the morning? Like still be kind of sluggish?
Yes.
How often would that occur? Was that like every morning or not every morning?
Not every morning. If we happen to give her medication later than normal than routine, that would happen. But,
Okay. And were there ever any instances where she had taken too much of the medicine? Perhaps you and Stefan had given her medicine, not knowing that the other person had?
yes, that's happened once
How many?
before.
Just once or more?
I want to say one.
Okay. Were you taking medicinal marijuana in pill form at any point?
I want to go back to that. Has it happened before where you've given her too much medication. Yes, that's happened before. That happened once before, many times before. It's happened once before. To me, that's probably, that seems like a lie as well. If it's happened once, it's happened 10 times. And yeah, so she's going to minimize anytime that's happened. Also, I mean, is it possible that Stefan is giving her extra in order to make her loopy, not telling Jen until after the fact, oh, I already gave her some, as an excuse that for, why she might behave that way. You guys know me, I'm waffling on this, whether they were knowingly doing things together or it was an unspoken agreement with them, I'm not sure.
THC?
Yes.
And what do those pills or tablets or capsules look like?
They're purple capsules.
Did you ever suspect or confront Stefan about giving those medications to Madeline?
No.
So during this incident where Madeline had been double dosed with hydroxyzine, do you recall any conversation you had with Stefan and inquiring as to whether or not he had accidentally given her any of your THC?
That hadn't occurred to me. I had asked him the one morning Maddie wouldn't wake up and get ready for school, and she was just out of it.
That's a great question.
I assumed it was medication related.
So this might be an indication of what, man, my voice is so bad, guys. Sorry. This might be an indication of what they already know on toxicology. Is it possible that Madeline has THC in her body? Is it possible that Stefan Stearns has been slipping her THC? But I would say that anything is possible and probable in this case, knowing the facts that we know.
But I didn't realize, I'm like, did this one medication hit her too hard because we gave it to her late? I called poison control. I needed to see what would happen. Because at this point, I think I had gotten Stefan to admit that he gave her a second dose of the sleeping meds as well, because he thought I had given it to her in the first place.
Okay.
But that was with hydroxyzine. I didn't know anything about THC, the marijuana.
I'm just asking you.
Oh.
I'm asking if you remember having that conversation, because there is a conversation on your phone about you were relaying that Madeline said that she suspected that it was different, bigger pills, and you relayed that to Stefan and had a conversation with him. And if you don't remember it because it was a year ago, that's fine. My next question is, you have two female roommates,
Yes.
and one of them has a child, a son that sleeps part-time over there.
Yes.
And so my understanding is they're kind of, it's like I don't know what to call it, like a bed and breakfast. There's numbers on the doors upstairs.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, to make it easier for the roommates, I just labeled each bedroom.
So they're in 2 and 3.
Yes.
All right. Now, bedroom number 4. At one point, you told the police that your sister was staying with you, and that's why the sleeping arrangements were as they were. Was your sister ever staying with you, or did I misunderstand what you said?
No, my sister wasn't staying with me.
Okay. So let me ask you this. At what point?
I don't remember her ever saying that her sister was staying with her in any of the other reports that I've read or the recordings that I've heard. I don't think I've heard her say that, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
When did Madeline's bedroom kind of become the living room? When did that setup start?
I think as soon as a few months into us moving back into that townhouse.
And when would that have been?
Let's say June of sometime sometime in 2022, but I'm not sure when.
Okay. It's my understanding that it's December of 2022 that you and Stefan kind of break up,
Yes.
but he still remains in the townhome.
Yes.
Why is that?
So even though we were broken up, I still considered him one of my best friends. I wanted to give him the opportunity to live there, and he had gotten a job at Disney.
Let me pause it here for Content Angel. So the cause of death that we understand is that she was strangled. That and yes, her hyoid bone was broken. Just so you know, the hyoid bone doesn't always break in strangulation, especially at a young age. It's still not bound. Like, it's a bone that becomes, it's a U-shaped bone in 3 pieces that has kind of cartilage in the joints that gets harder and calcified over time. It doesn't become fully calcified until we're in our late 20s. So at 13, it would not be uncommon for even a manual strangulation victim to not have a broken hyoid bone. But in this case, we understand that there was some trauma. There was a break to the right side of the hyoid bone. So yeah, it was not an overdose. However, the toxicology would tell us a lot. And I'm very, very curious about the THC. I'm very curious about the levels of hydroxyzine she might have in her, because that would tell us maybe a little bit more about the story about how she died. If she was loopy and she was asleep and she got strangled, that indicates to me something that, like, that was just a planned thing. He was going to do it. If she was not loopy, if she was present, she was awake, and she was strangled, to me, that is an indication that there was some sort of tussle, some sort of disagreement going on. So, yeah, great question, Content Angel. I hope that gave you a good answer.
Well,
Okay.
and I didn't want him to continue to lose that because he had been struggling for a long time to get a job or do anything because his own mental health issues.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give him a chance to, like, do something, be something. So
Did he pay rent?
yes,
How much rent did he pay?
$600 a month.
All right.
Oops, sorry.
Here from
No footsies.
like long way.
So in December of 2022, kind of when the breakup happens, prior to that, what were the sleeping arrangements in your home? Was he sleeping in your bedroom as a couple?
Yes.
So who's in bedroom number 4, if anybody?
I think that room remained empty for a while. For a little bit, there was another roommate there, but it remained empty for the most part.
And were your female roommates already there in 2 and 3?
Yes.
Why doesn't Madeline have that bedroom 4?
I wanted her to have bedroom 4, but my dad really wanted rent. That whole unit that I live in is owned by my father.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you pay your father anything to live there, or does he just handle collecting the rent from your rentees,
Yeah,
lessees, whatever they are?
I pay him rent as well.
Okay. What do you pay for the rent?
My portion of the rent was $400 a month.
All right. And what did the 2 female roommates pay?
$850 and $650.
Okay. Prior to Madeline having her own bedroom set up in the living room, where was she sleeping in that townhome?
This is $2,500 a month in rent altogether,
In my bed with me.
Okay.
right? Like if I work that out, it's $400 for Jennifer, $600 for Stefan, $650 for one of the roommates, $850 for another one of the roommates. That's $2,500. I think that was a money-making operation for Juan.
And this is during a time frame when you were together with Stefan, so is it the 3 of you every night?
Well, when we had first moved in, it was just me and Maddie. So it was just me and her on the bed. Then I think we eventually got her own bedroom. Stefan moves in eventually, and then, yeah, at that point, it does become the three of us on the bed.
So Madeline's 12, and she has her own bed.
We don't know that, Susan. I have not seen that in any reports if there were marks on her neck.
And how often is she sleeping in her own bed alone?
Hardly. She doesn't like sleeping alone. And she doesn't like the living room. It's too big, too quiet. She says it'd be too dark and that there would be spiders. She would see spiders, so...
So you say hardly. Were there ever nights where she just slept alone in her bed? Or is it 100%? Because there's a difference between hardly ever and 100% to me.
If she ever slept on that bed, it was like once.
Okay. All right. So now you've broken up with Stefan in December of 2022, right? Mm-hmm. He's still paying rent, and he's...
Actually, I have a question here. Like, I don't want to be indelicate, but I have a question about that sleeping arrangement. Like, okay, so say I'm a single guy, I'm a single fella working at Disney Orlando, and I meet and decide that I'm in love with Jen Soto. We move in together. I find out that Jen has a daughter who sleeps in her bed 100% of the time. If she slept in her own bed by herself, it was only once. So 100%, 99 and 6/9% of the time, that daughter is in the bed with the person that I have decided that I'm moving in with, sharing my life with. How does one ever get intimate with your intimate partner if one's intimate partner's daughter is always in the bed? I mean, I'm sure people have asked this for a long time, but like, does that not, do we not draw from that the understanding that there probably was sexual activity involving Madeline in that arrangement? Right? Like, I always kind of thought that whole Madeline doesn't like to sleep alone thing was kind of a thing that they used as an excuse for her, for the reason why she was in bed with Stefan. But if she's telling the truth here and saying, Madeline always slept with me, Madeline only one time ever slept in her own bed alone, then maybe I don't need to waffle anymore. There's got to be some weird sexual activity going on with the three of them. How would it not be that way? Dude, a 36-year-old guy, 37, how old was he? 37-year-old guy, prime of his life, like ignoring all the gross things, ignoring all that, which we shouldn't. We're not going to ignore it for long, but ignoring all that, just a regular 36, 37-year-old dude, and a 35-year-old woman, there is sexual activity there. With frequency, right? So, yeah, maybe I don't need to waffle on this anymore. I think that maybe, I think Jen probably was not, what I'm waffling between at this point, it's narrowed quite a bit. What I'm waffling between now is not whether she knew or whether she didn't know. I'm waffling now between whether she is just so mentally unaware that she didn't know and she knew. That's why, like, she isn't able to know because of mental illness or cognitive decline or something going on there, versus she was a full-on participant in this. I think I can probably get rid of the waffling now. I feel like if she's in her bed 100% of the time, or in Stefan's bed 100% of the time, then Jen 100% was part of the sexual abuse of her daughter. That's what I think. I can't think anything else. Oh.
They're full-time in bedroom number 4. Is that where he goes after you break up?
No, he stayed in my room for a few months. We had broken up, but we weren't sure how to discuss it with Maddie because it was the middle of the school year, and I didn't want to affect her in any way. So we just played it off, acted like everything was normal and fine for the first 6 months. And then eventually she caught on. And then once she did, we admitted to her that we were broken up. And then, at that point is when he moved up to bedroom 4.
Okay. And once he moved up to bedroom 4, were there instances where Madeline would sleep alone upstairs with him?
Yeah, she's covering up. She's covering.
I'm going to say
I want you to think carefully before you answer, because obviously we've gone through your phone and we've seen all the conversations that you've had with Stefan. So it's clear that that's occurring. So I'm giving you the chance to answer the question.
yeah,
Good for
I'm
him.
just trying to figure out how many times it's happened.
Okay. Why are you allowing that to occur?
I saw Stefan as someone that I completely trusted with my life, my child's life. I thought he had cared for her as a father would. He had been in her life for more than half of it, playing the father role. I thought he cared for her the way I did.
Now, does there come a point in time in 2023 where you've kind of had enough of roommate ex-boyfriend Stefan and ask him to hit the road?
Yes.
And is that fair to say it was like October?
Maybe like the end of October, because then I gave him all of November and told him he had to be out by December 1st, kind of thing. But yeah, that sounds about right.
And then did you kind of ask him to leave a month earlier and it was a source of arguments?
Yes.
Okay. So now at this point in time when he's being asked to leave, have you had any conversation with Maddie that mommy isn't together with Stefan anymore and this is kind of the ways of the world? Do you have that conversation with her?
She had, by June, she figured it out already, so she knew we weren't together or anything like that. So by December, yeah, she had already known he was leaving, but that was okay.
Why is he coming back to visit after he's out?
We're still friendly with each other at this point. Christmas is coming up, and we wanted to spend Christmas together. So he comes up for a few days during Christmas, and then he does visit a few more times after that, but for the day, and it's to pick up packages. He keeps getting mail delivered to my house, packages, so he just comes up and picks them up.
And when he comes to visit after he's been kind of kicked out, is he paying rent or how is this working, or is he just coming to visit?
He's just coming to visit.
Is your father making any arrangements to rent bedroom number 4? Because this is his income that he's losing.
Yeah, we had it. We had like an ad posted to see if we can get any renters. So we were trying to rent it out, but then we had to stop.
And what happens if you had ended up renting room number 4? Is Stefan going to still come up and visit you and sleep in your bed?
I don't know. I hadn't even thought of it at that point.
At one point you told investigators that Stefan was quote-unquote stuck down there until they could afford for him to come back. Were there plans for him to come back?
We had discussed him coming back and living with me. We weren't sure if temporarily or like for me to help him out with the place for a little bit before he can find his own place and move out. Or we were also considering talking about living together as like a companionship. Working with my best friend who's helping me out with my child.
Because you told investigators that a lot of the reason your relationship fizzled off with Stefan was that your antidepressants.
This is a redaction that they did.
You had moved on to other people, had you not?
Yes.
And so despite having moved on with other people, you were still having Stefan come up and visit, and there were plans to cohabitate with him again, potentially.
Possibly, yes.
Wow. This woman.
Maddie had the opportunity to go visit her biological father in the fall out in Texas. Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember texting the biological father, "Hope nobody touches Maddie or tries shit or films her under the bathroom"? You remember sending that text?
No.
Oh. There's another redaction. This one might be a bit. Wow. Because we know that it happened
Orange
to
County Sheriff's Office back in February?
we know that it happened to one of the roommates, that one of the roommates was shown a photo from Stefan's phone of her that was taken under the bathroom door. So it's like Jen is projecting onto her ex-husband something that might happen to Madeline down there. Wow.
Because that seems like a very oddly specific thing to text the father. So you didn't know anything about what was going on filming underneath bathroom doors?
No idea. I don't know why I would have texted that.
Oh my goodness. She is definitely lying. She is being caught in a lie there. Let's get her face on this. She is being caught in a lie on that. Why would you specifically send that text? That specific text, and then claim that you have no idea what's going on in your own home. That one probably lost her immunity right there. I mean, her derivative use immunity is not there. There are going to be charges against her.
16th of last year, about 9:30 p.m.
Oh, actually, I can actually think back to that.
Okay. What?
I think around the time that Maddie was going to fly out to Houston, there had been an airline person that had gone into the bathroom and placed their camera on the toilet to film. And I remember thinking, I don't want Maddie, I'm afraid of Maddie being alone on a plane because what if an attendant...
That is not the same thing. Oh, come on. Not even, that is not the same thing.
Does that to her, says, hold on, let me fix something in the bathroom. And in reality, they're setting up a camera because this did happen to a girl.
Okay.
So I want to say it may have been concerns over that.
Okay. Now, June 16th of last year at 9:30 p.m. and 27 seconds, you texted Stefan this: "Maddie's no longer sleeping with me. I can't risk it." What does that mean?
I have no idea.
How often was Maddie sleeping with you?
Often, all the time.
Well, you keep on saying often versus all the time. Was it 100% of the time or not 100% of the time?
If she wasn't with my mom and she was with me, then yeah, she was sleeping with me.
Okay. And if she's at mom, she's 100% of the time sleeping with mom? Your mom?
With my mom, or she does have her own room, I guess. Like there's another spare room she could use, but for the most part, she prefers to sleep with my mom.
Okay. Now, my understanding is that you had some sort of period tracker that you kept track of Madeline's period with?
I had a calendar app that I would write what days she would get her period, yeah.
And obviously, Madeline doesn't have a job, so she's not going out and buying the products that she would need if she had her period, right? You would have to do that for her? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
So, do you remember her using any of those products at all in February? Because I assume you take the trash out, or does she take the trash out, or how does all this work?
I take the trash out. In February, no, I didn't notice her using any of her feminine hygiene products.
Did you have any conversations with her about that?
No, but I didn't notice until after everything. Like,
Hold on. I want to go back a few seconds. I'm going to go back a few seconds and listen to this
the
again.
days she would get her period, yeah.
And obviously, Madeline doesn't have a job, so she's not going out and buying the products that she would need if she had her period, right? You would have to do that for her? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
So, do you remember her using any of those products at all in February? Because I assume you take the trash out, or does she take the trash out, or how does all this work?
I take the trash out. In February, no, I didn't notice her using any of her feminine hygiene products.
Did you have any conversations with her about that?
No, but I didn't notice until after everything. Like,
Because it would have been due like at the beginning of February, and this all happens at the end of February, so she's almost due again in March. So you never had any conversations with her about not having her period at the beginning of February?
no, she's had other periods that have been missed or like super late, so I just assumed this was going to be one of those situations again.
Okay.
But no, I didn't.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All the questions that everybody's been asking about that go to motive, which by the way, motive isn't necessary to prove in a court case. But the questions that go to motive about whether Maddie was pregnant, and maybe that is maybe that is the motive for getting her or taking her life. We now are learning. Well, you guys, this is the first time I've listened to this all the way through. So now we've learned that she was late on her period all the way to the end of. I mean, she died February 26th or early morning hours of February 26th or late of February 25th. I've never really worried about that question because I know that motive really doesn't matter. But if this is something that, if she was late on her period, that might have been concerning to Stefan. I can't imagine a mom not being concerned enough about their daughter's period that they like you've got a 13-year-old girl here and you've got a boyfriend who is abusing her. You would have to just be absolutely just not there. Your IQ would have to be a negative number to not be concerned about your daughter getting pregnant by your boyfriend who you know to be abusing her. But that little tidbit that she added in the end there, that she had been late before, that is something that if she's using an app and that would be verifiable. And if they catch her in a lie on that, there goes her derivative use immunity. But wow, is it possible that Madeline was indeed pregnant? I've never cared to answer that question before. I didn't have enough information to really ask the question and have a good enough answer, but it does now appear to me that, yeah, Madeline was late. It was the end of February. She was due at the beginning. Wow. All right.
Did you ever discuss her periods or lack of periods with Stefan?
I don't think so.
It's my understanding that Maddie had to take Miralax. I'm familiar with that myself because of my daughter when she was little. So she had constipation issues?
Yeah.
Would it ever cause her discomfort, physical pain, bleeding?
Yes.
And how are you aware of that?
She would tell me. There have been moments. So we've gone to doctor's appointments. They've run a lot of tests on her. They told me why her body is doing what it's doing. But she's shown me if there was blood, or if she's in the bathroom and she just can't go, like it's stuck. She showed me that too. So
Did she ever specifically seek treatment for tears or bleeding or anything due to her bowel movements?
No, I don't think so. Tears or anything like that, no. I don't think there was ever a tear.
Hey, Nosy, this is a very good question. Can we do a hypothetical? If Maddie was pregnant, could Stefan Stearns be charged for 2 murders? So I'm not sure what the Florida statute is. I would imagine, because Florida is a very red state, that this is something that he could be charged with. I would imagine that they're probably withholding that charge. If that charge exists, they might be withholding it because she is a juvenile. It's a juvenile victim. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that could be that could be a charge that he gets.
On February 26th, the whole purpose of Stefan coming and taking Madeline to school was so that you could get some sleep. You had missed your medication Saturday night, so on and so forth, right?
Yes.
Is there any particular reason Stefan couldn't have driven your car to take Madeline to school and therefore not embarrass her and he could just drop her off normally?
Yes, but because he's not on my car insurance, I was very nervous to let him drive my car.
You did let him drive your car after this occurred, though, right?
Yes, but he was very insistent because he wanted to go look for Maddie, and he had a spare on his car because he had a flat, so he couldn't drive his
This is the April 18th interview, Reagan.
car. So he just really wanted to go out. So I just let him, but I wasn't comfortable with it.
During your previous interviews, and you did it once today, you kind of interchanged I, we, or Stefan dropping Madeline off at school.
Yeah,
did you see Madeline at all on February 26th of 2024, that Monday?
No.
Do you know anything about how she died?
No.
Did Stefan tell you anything about how she died?
No.
Did Stefan tell you about his plans to go back down to Northport in your car that Wednesday morning?
These are trap questions.
I'm getting close.
I'm going to jump through, because I was making notes as we were going on. So, how frequently did Stefan come up here after he moved back to Northport?
I'm going to say
How many times total do you think he came back here?
2 to 3 times.
Do you remember if those were around specific dates?
One was like the week of Christmas. I can't remember when the other one was.
Was Stefan in town the week or 2 prior to this last time he came?
I don't remember. It's possible, but I don't remember. Everything is becoming a blur.
Do you remember sending him a text message asking if he can babysit Maddie while you go have lunch with your friend?
This was a few weeks before. I remember going out a few weeks before. I don't remember asking him to babysit. I don't know where he was.
Did you ever go to lunch with your friend? And he babysat her?
I did go to lunch with my friend, but I don't think he was here. I think Maddie stayed home alone for a few hours.
Okay. When you mentioned Maddie caught on about you guys being broke up, how did that happen? What did she say, or?
I forgot. Me and Stefan were having a conversation, and she goes, "Are you guys broken up?" And we kind of looked at her, and we're like, "Why do you ask?" She goes, "Because you guys are kind of acting like you're broken up. You guys haven't hugged and kissed in a long time." And we're like, "Okay." So we just kind of.
How do you think she felt about that?
Fine. She didn't act sad or happy or anything. You're just like, whatever.
All right. Now, you mentioned to me before, too, that you found her phone on her dresser in, like, her little bedroom area. Does she have a specific spot where she plugs in her phone to charge? How does she charge her phone?
So on her side of my bed. She's got a long charger. She'll connect it there to charge. Don't know how she charged it that night though. Don't know if she took her charger and moved it to the room upstairs. Not sure.
How do you charge your phone?
I charge my phone with my charger next to me on my side of the bed.
Okay, is it one that you plug in or?
The magnetic
Exactly,
one.
Bobby.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, when you go to bed at night, is there any kind of routine that you do with your phone? If you're texting, look on TikTok or whatever, and you go to bed, you just set your phone down and go to sleep, or what's that routine like?
I'll TikTok until I start dozing off, and then I'll put my phone on the charger, make sure my alarm's on, and then just lay down, close my eyes, and hope not to think of too much, just fall asleep.
Okay,
Hope
that
not to
night,
think too much.
Saturday or Sunday night, when you guys, when spending this half hour of time together, was all you that you were doing was talking about gifts and counting her money, or were you guys doing anything else?
Just asking her for more details about the party and to tell me like what I missed. She seemed like she had a really good time.
When you got home from work that day, where was everybody?
I think everyone was in my room, hanging out in my room.
Okay, everybody meaning.
Maddie and Stefan were in my
Okay.
room. Sorry.
All right. Now it's obvious that you and Stefan communicate via text message and phone calls and stuff like that. What is Google Meet?
What is Google Meet? That is like Google's version of FaceTime. So just face chatting,
Okay.
video chatting.
Okay.
Of course, he already knows what Google Meet is.
When her birthday party was planned, was this planned before you got your job or after?
The birthday party?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was planned before. Because once I saw my schedule and I saw that it was during a training day, and I
Thank
wasn't
you,
gonna
PJ.
call out. I considered rescheduling the party, but my family was insistent to just keep it that day. And I said, okay.
All right, so Stefan moves out of his room, and I think you mentioned that your dad had plans on renting that room again to somebody else. Is that right?
Yeah.
How was that room set up? How was Stefan's room set up after he moved out?
Pretty much the
That's
same.
it.
Pretty much the same. The bed was in the same location. The
Okay.
TV, the dresser, the desk, and the mini fridge. Everything stayed in the same location.
Okay, was the bed, and did it have comforter, blankets, and all that stuff on it, or?
When he moved out, everything was empty. There was a mattress protector cover on it. But I had clean sheets and clean blankets to put on, like they're available. So
Where were they available?
in the closet,
Okay.
and I did, yeah. Now that I know they were there.
Do you know if he made the bed?
I don't know, but I'm going to assume he. I don't know.
I would
What
assume
did the
he
blankets
not.
look like that would be used to make that bed?
They would be white cotton linen sheets with. They're white, but they're white stripes, different shades of white. So white stripes going down it. That was a fitted cover, then a sheet, and then the pillowcases. And there should have been like a warm blanket in the closet somewhere.
The same color, white, or?
Maybe gray.
Okay. When you say there's pillowcases, how many pillows were on the bed?
I'm not sure. I know that we had taken things out of that room before. I don't know if we used those pillows. I'm not sure what pillows were up there.
Okay, did you ever go into the room after you discovered that she was missing? Did you go upstairs to that bedroom? No.
These are great.
So when you go to sleep in your room, and you're either with Maddie or without Maddie or with Stefan, is your door open, closed, lights on, lights off?
When I go to sleep? So I have a cat. I can't shut the door. I have to leave it cracked. So it stays cracked with a door stopper behind it so it doesn't open all the way because my cat will just knock it over. Yeah, but we sleep with the door cracked.
Okay, lights on, lights off?
Lights off with a YouTube video playing in the background, playing rain sounds.
Okay, would the screen be illuminated, or is it something where a screen, like a phone, where the screen goes black and it still plays?
It goes black, yeah, and still plays.
Do you remember it happened that night if you were listening to those YouTube videos, or?
Probably was. I listen to it every night, so I probably was.
Does it shut off automatically?
Around like 4 or 5 a.m., but then I'll notice and I'll press play again.
Okay. Is it fair to say that you're easily woken up, or no? By sounds like that, or?
I'm not sure if I'm easily woken up. I don't know.
That's not a hard question.
Okay. Now,
Guys, that is
purpose
not a hard
of you.
question. I can tell you that I sleep through World War III. Like, I can just tell you that about myself. Everybody can answer that question, whether they're easily awakened or not. That's an evasive answer. You can't tell me whether you are easily awakened or not. Come on, every adult knows, every kid knows this.
Telling or having Maddie sleep with Stefan upstairs is because you told me before that you needed a good night's sleep. If you needed this kind of sleep previously to when Stefan wasn't there, what would happen?
Great
You mean
question.
if Stefan wasn't there and I needed this good night's sleep? It depends. If I had missed my meds the way I missed them that night and I wasn't feeling, or I was
Bull
feeling
crap.
just how I was feeling, I'm not sure if I would have had her have her sleep with me on the other side of the bed, or if I would have sent her upstairs to the guest room. But
You
she
already
sleeps like a
said
monkey.
that she sleeps with you all the time, that she's only not slept with you once. This is a great question.
She sleeps. She rolls. She'll start on one end of the bed and end up on top of me by the end of the night. And she's a gymnast, I guess. But
Have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep?
no, not for any of these reasons.
Have you ever sent her upstairs to sleep by herself?
Alone? No.
Exactly.
I'm going to need to wrap this up.
Bull crap.
Okay, one more question. Does anybody use your phone other than you?
Great question.
No. Except for the day that we were.
This will come in. This question will come in court half a dozen times. That this is a great question. Does anybody use your phone except for you? No. So every time they show evidence to a jury, this phone did this, it went here, it pinged there, it made this text. She already said nobody ever uses her phone. It's her. It's a great question.
Sitting in front of my house and forensics was in the house. That was the only time I've ever let anyone use my phone, and that was Stefan. Stefan had my phone.
What about, do you wear an Apple Watch?
Yes.
Does it track any of your movements or anything like that you know
Another
of?
great question.
Do you sleep with your watch on?
No. I hardly ever put it on, honestly.
Okay. All right. I don't have anything else.
Do you have anything real quick, Danielle?
No.
Do you have anything that you think we should know, Matthews?
Unfortunately, no.
Good down there?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, it's 10:06 a.m. We will conclude this investigative subpoena interview with you, Ms. Soto. Thank you. I'm sorry.
And that is the end of the recording, guys. So much that we learned there. Now, there was one comment that I wanted to come back to. First off, PJ, thank you for that super chat. John Ellen Wilson, Gavin, what do you think the motive was? So here's the thing about me. I don't worry about motive all that much. And I know that it's part of how we're trained as true crime aficionados, right? That there has to be motive, means, opportunity, and all that fun stuff. I never worry about motive all that much because I know that motive has nothing to do with proving a case. You never really need to prove a motive. You can prove without. Having said that, though, I have a hard time thinking that pregnancy would be the motive because Madeline was 13 years old. And I saw a comment earlier that said abortion is illegal in Florida after 6 weeks. But, I mean, basically, Stefan had his parents wrapped around his little finger. If he said, hey, I've got to take Madeline and to a clinic, and we have to go to Georgia, Louisiana, whatever, they would have paid for that for sure, I think. I really do. And so I don't feel like that's a reason for murder. I honestly think there was just a fight that happened. I think there was just a tussle. She'd had enough, maybe. 5 years was enough, and she'd had it. But could it have been a pregnancy? I suppose it could have been. I don't know. Guys, so much to learn in that, and I know that other channels have gone over this earlier, but I don't mind coming late to the party. I think it's really fun to be able to talk about these things maybe after all the hype has kind of died down around their release. I do want to, let's see, before we wrap up for the day, a couple things. I just want to let you guys know that I will be doing a live stream tomorrow at the same time, 7 p.m. And that will be my last live stream for probably about a week, because on Wednesday, that is when I take off to London for CrimeCon UK. If you go over to the website and check out events, you will see CrimeCon UK as my next live event. It is Saturday and Sunday, the 21st and 22nd of September. If you're going to be there and you haven't bought tickets, please use my code FISH at checkout. Save yourself 10%. If you are going to be there, please stop by Content Creators Row and come and say hello. I would love to meet you in person. I'm going to spend a little time there with our middle child. We're gonna not sure what we're gonna do yet, but we're gonna probably see stuff other than London. I love CrimeCon and I love the UK. One of the things that I love about the UK is that they have very good Argentine food there. So I'm looking forward to that. But my daughter and I might hop the train to Paris one day or do something else, and I'm really looking forward to that. But I will definitely be there the 21st and 22nd at CrimeCon, so please come and have a visit with us. If you have not subscribed yet to Crime Cod, see what I did there? My true crime newsletter, you can do that over on my website. Just click on Crime Cod. Also, if you click on the little fishy up there, that will take you over to the Fish Tank, which is our Facebook group. So I invite you to join us there. Tomorrow we're going to be back. Let me just make sure that I've got this correctly. Give me a second. Yeah, YouTube at Gavin Fish. There we go. Yeah, so our next case is the Sandra Birchmore case, guys. We're going to, of course, we will come back around to Madeline. There's so much more that has recently come out. We're definitely coming back. But we're going to peel off and we're going to talk about Sandra Birchmore tomorrow. This is a sad, sad tale of a young woman not much older than Madeline Soto that was being abused in much the same way, but her abusers were cops. They were cops. So, and one of them has been arrested and charged with her murder. So please come back tomorrow about 7 o'clock. We will get started promptly at 7. Please show my mod some love. Autumn and Jamie are moderating for me. They do amazing moderation. I'm really, really grateful for them. If you go over to my website, click on support, scroll down to the bottom, go ahead and click that button and buy my mods a cup of coffee if you think they deserve it. I think they do. I think they're amazing. With that, I've got to call it. I'm not feeling all that well, but I'm feeling well enough to do this. It's been fun to be back. So I'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock. With that, I will bid you adieu, and I will see you then. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.